I know people that have, I know people that have reached out to me about integrity. They've reached out to me about integrity. That woman, she they talk up now. She don't divorce before now. But in divorcee one they tell me on top space. She don't divorce before now. What do you mean? And I just smile. And not just her. People that we've been engaging during the last presidential election in Nigeria. Nobody bothered about their religion, sexual preference. We just wanted a better Nigeria, right? But after the election, people were talking about social topics like this. That is when our fellow people, now our fellow so-called obedience, now start seeing gay people as demons. Saying they need to shoot them, firing squad method. I'm being honest with you. And I was like, hold up. So this guy is an obedient. He wants better government. And we did all these things together, right? So are you saying because of his sexual preference, you want them to just light him up? Then I started sensing the stigmatization about the gay community, single mothers, um, spinsters. I mean, we had single mothers within the obedient movement. They were attacked. When they don't agree on certain issues, you be hearing, I better come out here. Go now. Why you know deal your husband house? Go and look after your picking. Things like that are coming from people you defended. People. I'm being honest with you. I saw these things, and it happened. It got to a point. Couple of my gay friends in Nigeria, they stopped coming on Twitter Spaces. It was just too toxic for them. They couldn't stand it. Like it was so serious that they wanted to start going after them on ground in Nigeria there. It was that bad. So when we talk about things like this, the stigmatization has actually run so deep. But we've not been paying attention to it. We see ourselves as holier than thou. Oh, he's married to a beautiful woman. He has kids. Yeah, is a perfect example of a family man. That is the mentality we have. But I can't fault them. These are things we were brought up with. These are things we saw our grandfather did. Our fathers, uncles, aunties, these are things we saw them did. There's a reason why we get educated, we get enlightened, learn and unlearn. And I will yield at that today. Thank you, Daniel. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jimmy. For it's always an amazing time to hear from you, learn from you. I knew you were going to bring some balance to it, and thank you so much for doing that. And we hope to, get to hear you again. Maybe. However, there's I think regarding the topic, I honestly coined. All right, I wanted to bring in single parents, but I realized that each of these things are a topic. They should be independent topics on their own, really, because each of these things have different factors to them. Yes, we can tie in the. I think it was Crypto Pop that said that if you have a child after divorcing, they don't see you as a divorcee; they see you as a single parent. It's only when you left the marriage without an issue that you didn't have a child. So at that point, you become a divorcee. All right, on their own that I feel we should talk about this thing because they're very very critical topics that we should talk about and look at them, dissect them critically, not trying to model them. But of course you you know to go about this thing. So I just thought it's something we should talk about one after the other. All right, for me. But it's all good. It's all good. Thank you very much for your submission. Thank you. All right. So I saw Fidelity's hand. I'd like to go to you first before um I'll speak to Madam Integrity. I think I have a question for her, and then let's see how, we begin to bring some balance to this topic. All right. So, Fidelity, are you there to speak? Can you do me 100 if you're available to speak? I think I saw your hands up. All right. So please let's hear you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks. This is my first time on your speech, basically. Yeah, well, I got some questions for Jimmy before, but I think when he was giving his conclusion, so he settled on. So that was why I just like, so no need again for my question. All is good. Or should I just give my own submission?
Okay, if you have questions for Jimmy, please go ahead. Let's hear the question first of all, and then of course we'll give you room to,
No, I said he has actually balanced all already. So the question was like, he was not like choosing any side. He was just like giving perspective from both sides. He was not choosing side, and that was very brilliant of him. He tried to just balance all, which was very wise and wise things to actually do. I was like looking at when he was giving the
all
advantage
right, great.
and
So
disadvantage.
you can
Are you getting me?
okay,
Am
all
I,
right.
audi-
Yes,
am I,
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
no?
Though it seems you're breaking at some point,
Okay,
but
all right.
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. So I said that
All right.
that was wise of him giving. He was not choosing side. He was just like giving from both sides, trying to just balance, making us to actually see both sides. So before I was like saying that okay, when he was giving those two sides, I was like, which one? Because there's no how. One is going to be more riskier. There should be a place to see that this place is more riskier, like you said. Which one is more heavy? You asked the question, and he was saying it's a personal stuff, and so me, I'm a very young dude. you know, I'm actually just trying to learn from those who are much mature in this journey. I've not been disturbed by this before. I'm just sitting down here quietly, humbly to just listen and learn from many people, like you said. But if I'm to give should I give my own conclusion or just what do you think? Or I should just wait till people who actually met me here. I met someone here rather. What did you feel about that?
Okay, the question is, would you marry a divorcee? All right. So, it's a very direct question, really. And then, if you would marry a divorcee, people have come up, to give their reasons for wanting to marry or not. All right, marry a divorcee or not. So, just give us a perspective of, what you think about a divorcee. Is it okay for you? Would your religion allow it? If you're going to marry a divorcee, why? Just go straight to the point and let's know what your take is so that we can also allow other people speak. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the question. I was just like, should I go? Because I think I met some people up there. So I think you called me up for the question I had before. But now you want me to give my own submission, which is very fine. All right. So the way I see this issue, to me basically, I've been cracking my head looking at it that ah um AY, what do you see to this kind of thing? If such a thing actually eats you, how can you balance this stuff? But to me, I end up realizing that to me, basically, personally, I I can't go for it. I can't really go for it. My reason is that because I was trying to see that what can actually lead to this stuff. Perhaps is it that yeah, because I see that when you're going to choose a spouse for yourself, there should be um, the character factor. There should be factors required and needed from both sides. And I believe the same bed flocks together in the sense whereby me as a person, basically, I'm a Christian and I'm happy to be that. And I respect those that are not a Christian. There's no big deal about that. So for me, I can't marry a Muslim to get someone opposite to my own religion. and I can't marry someone that, in the sense whereby, is not matching my own character. There is required factor from my own side. So if I see it in the sense whereby, so because I believe that's the factor, that's the foundation we have to just check on. Because those things, if it is not well checked, there can be issues along the line that can lead to many things, divorce and so. There are some instances that at the end, along the line, one of the parties is going to die. That one is different. If the one of the party died now along the line, that's other issue differently to me. But in the sense whereby there is not child involved and so, I don't want to go along that. What I'm just trying to just say is just that, the character involved matters to me very well. Now see someone that actually have issues along this way. I believe that perhaps, maybe they are not actually going on the same way. Maybe they were attracted to the spouse they marry because of maybe seeing it from one perspective, perhaps body shape, perhaps beauty. And along the way, they get there, we're seeing that character aspect is not really matching, and they cut it off. So to me, I believe it started from the factor basis that can decide how it's going to go, because we can how would I say it? Um, before we um, we can we we can predict the end journey from the start. You know, we can predict that. So to me, I won't go because I believe that the person that is divorced coming to my own way, I just believe there's going to be a lot of stories to tell, and so me being a fresh guy and being a fresh guy going to a marriage, I think to me it's not going to really pay for me. And though I don't really have much idea about this, but to me, I just see that if the character issues might later actually be the problem, because now, in the sense whereby, um, if I love my spouse to actually be the type to be like me and you, like the unity aspect in things like we worship at the same church, we are quite understanding, we pray together. You know, this is how I want to train my own child. This is how you believe we should train our child. So if in that aspect, I believe issues cannot be if we have the same similar minded, that kind of mind and all. And if there's even issue, there's a way we can actually settle it because of our religion belief and so on. So we'll be like minded. So the divorce is going to be very, very slim. For divorce to come in, it's going to be very, 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 very slim. So to people and different opinion we have been hearing from here, I just believe that perhaps, perhaps, maybe the same bed are actually fluxing together. Or we should say that maybe there's no properly check, they've not actually checked that dissect these issues from their own point of view. Maybe one is maybe the good egg is marrying the bad egg. So to me, I just see that divorce, divorce to me, to marry a divorcee is not advisable to me, to me. But I'm actually open to learn more from people which have been learning from different perspectives. Like Jimmy himself have give us like giving has actually widened the scope of it, so which I'm actually still learning about it. So thank you very much. I don't really have much, so just perhaps just forgive my my should I say my little ignorant about the topic, but that's just my own take, basically. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Fidelity, for your take. All right, it's fine. These are different perspectives to it. So do not apologize for coming to give us what you think about the topic. It's totally okay. Guess when you understand better, all right, you would also give a better perspective For now, what you're giving is okay, all right? So do not apologize. I say this on my spaces that whatever you believe in, whatever your convictions are in life, however, be open minded so that you learn from people. But do not apologize for knowing the little you know and putting it out there, because it also show how honest you are, and then when you open it up like that, by the time you hear other people speak, it will also help you become a better person, and then you'll learn from them. So thank you very much, Fidelity, for dropping by and dropping your 2 cents. All right, so Madam Integrity, I see you. Please, if you are available to speak, I have a question for you. This is very. I think I saw your message in the post I made regarding how this topic is very, very, close, the one that is close to your heart. Please, if you are there, can you do me 100, please? All right, all right. So this is it. I just want to ask, what was the experience like for you? Considering this whole stigmatization, did you even experience it? Because I did experience it, and I know what the the way it made me feel. I also know how a lot of persons didn't want to. It was a very terrible experience for me, because you see, the problem for my own was religion, all right? Because I'm a preacher's son, and the whole thing was, oh, pastor pikin, how you go marry, you never even take, you never even reach 10 years, you never even reach 5 years, you don't divorce and all that. It was a very crazy experience for me. And my father even, was one of those that kicked against it and all of that. And it was a very, very, it was a mixed, feeling for me. But at the end of the day, I think I knew why I wanted to, do it, because in this case, a bit contrary to what Jimmy said earlier, I think many times it's not just the women. I think it's lack of knowledge and conscience for people to think that many divorces that have happened, women have only been the ones that have caused it. That would be a wrong mindset for some person, because the truth is there are also marriages that crash because the men in the marriages did not do what they ought to have done. All right, and then the women also couldn't bear to an extent, they couldn't bear those pains any longer, and they had to take a walk. All right, so for me, I don't think it's only women, all right, that are the reasons for divorces. Yes, it's a general knowledge that when women are divorced, or when people are divorced, they usually point fingers at the women. But for me, I think it's
Oh,
totally unfair
sorry,
to
Daniel.
think
I
that
didn't
way.
say it's women. Oh, I never said that. Oh,
No, I understand. I understand
oh,
what you said. I understand what you said.
oh,
Yes, I
okay, okay.
understand. Yes, I understand. I'm just trying to create a balance to what you said. It is thought that when there's a divorce, fingers are pointed at women. That's what you said, right? uh So I'm just saying that for me, it is wrong to think that way, because at the end of the day, if you want to look at it, many times it's not just the women, all right? It's both ways, all right? So it's not just the women. Women also, in some cases, have been reasons for divorces. Of course, same has been for the men. So for me, it's not that. But Madam Integrity, how has it been, or how was it, and how did you conquer that stigma that came? Was there even a stigma for you? Because I know that for some climes or some demographics, these things don't apply like that, like you have in the African climb. So what is it? How did it go? I'd like to hear your experience as well. Thank you very much for being here. You have the mic.
Yeah. Hi, Daniel. I hope everybody can hear me. Hi, everybody.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear, we can hear
Amy,
you.
Afua, Afua. We should talk. I'm so sorry. I've been really, really busy. Melia in name. I guess the forum will get filled up, much later, like in the last one, during the last one. And every other person, hi, Crypto Prof. Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me. It's Monday. Typically my Mondays are very dull, and but I thank God that today has been an exception. So thank you for having me. This is a very good topic. I wish we had more people here. Um, it would have been nice to have more people so that people can start opening their minds to how they think. Our greatest problem is our thought process. That is why we talk about stigmas. Daniel, yeah, you had a question. So first of all, I did not face any stigma because I was already in the United States when I had my divorce. I was already living here. And then secondly, I come from a family that encourages divorce. Yes, I come from a family that encourages you to leave if you're not happy, particularly when abuse is involved. I went through physical abuse in my first marriage. I was quite young. He was, much older than me. And I recall my father when I wanted to leave. My father had called me into his room and made me promise him that if he continues to lay his hands on you or not treat you well, promise me you will leave him. Promise me, because I don't know if I'll see you again. Promise me you will not stay. And I made a promise to my father. And before we got married, or when we got married, before we got married, my father had taken this person into the room, his bedroom, which he typically does not do. Took him to the bedroom and talked very deeply. In fact, he is the one who told me that my father had called him into the room and my father went naked. My father went naked as a symbol of the depth of what he was trying to, what he was about to discuss with him. And my father, I have a bond with my father. It's not a bond I can explain. My father was my everything, So my father did not play with me. My father did not play. So I understood why my father did what he did, why my father, made it, it was more like, take this thing really seriously. I'm speaking to you from my nakedness. Well, not naked, but my father, had his boxer shorts on. My father had his ways. This is my daughter, my mother, my wife, my everything. She is my everything. Do not maltreat her. Do not maltreat her. Because we were about to go to the US then. That was a long time ago. So, and of course, before we left, I saw the signs, but I didn't. I just felt, yeah, I like to give people the benefit of that. It's just being human, I try to put myself in people's shoes. But by the time we got to the US, ooh, and I was surprised that, oh, this is the US and you're doing this. And I made sure I went all out. So I did not face any stigma. In fact, when I was about to leave him, my mother and my brothers had visited. They came to the US specifically to help me move my load out. So I am from that kind of a family, and not just my nuclear family, my whole extended family on both sides. If we are maltreating one person, everybody is there physically. Everybody will go there. So I'm not from that. I'm not from that. My orientation doesn't have. We're not from that school of thought That oh, stay and marriage is a do or die. All those Nigerian mentalities. Well, no, my family is. In fact, people used to ask me. I mean, did your father grow up in Nigeria? Why does he think the way he thinks? My dad was never a marriage person. My father, all I kept hearing when I was growing up with, concentrate on your career, concentrate on your career, get your PhD, get your master's, build yourself as a woman. My father was a girl dad. So my dad was not into, oh, when are you going to get married? No, 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 no. And anybody you brought home, he'll accept it. He believed that you make your mistakes. So I was in that line, at that time I was young, a little bit naive, took people, on face value. Um, so there was no stigma at all. In fact, at that time, my friends were like, "Do you want a divorce lawyer? Do you want me to introduce you to a divorce lawyer?" That is the mentality here, abroad. People even start, they don't care to, hear what happened. They just, encourage you as long as you're happy, and as long as, of course, your story is true. And as long as, that is what is going to, keep you going in life and, help you pursue your happiness, why not? So I did not face any stigma. And, even if there was a stigma, because I just recall there was, well, not at that time. It was during my, when I was doing the ceremonies for my current marriage. That my cousin said, "Oh, what's all this noise for a second marriage?" And of course, it's a typical Nigerian way of talking. So you don't give relevance to or importance to that kind of talk or mentality. So I have never been a person who cares about stigmatization. I still go ahead and do what I have to do. I've I have always had an open mind. Thankfully my parents are, very educated. So, and my father was not just educated, my dad applied his education. So in the way he taught and the way he saw life. So, and luckily I made sure I took all that from him. So I've never really cared about how people see. Stigmatization is how people think. Stigmatization comes from closed minded people or closed mindedness. And when you know somebody is closed minded and you're very confident in your way you think, why would you even care about what the person thinks? The person is not feeding you. It's not going to stop you from going to where you're going. See, if we start practicing all those things in Nigeria, I think a lot of us will be happy. Nigerians are so particular about what people think about them. And that person is not living your life. That person doesn't even know your life. That person doesn't know what you're going through. Has no idea about what you're going through as a person. The person will not even help you, even if you go to that person to, you run to that person. So why would you even care about what the person is thinking? Why? So I think we have allowed mentality as a people. And, a lot of these mentalities, you can imagine this is 2025. And there's some topics that when you bring it up or you see some of those posts, topics as a post, and you just wonder, are people still think like this in 2025? You know? I saw a video today of a man who was beating the wife in the most despicable and barbaric way. And I was wondering, this is 2025, for heaven's sake. People still beat people like this? You beat the person as if the person is an animal. Of course, when you're beating somebody as an animal, you are acting like as an animal. This is 2025. We're beginning to talk about AI. And people are still living in 1930s, a 1930s mentality. So, when people who think like us do not speak up, then it appears as if it is okay to think like that. And I'm gonna go delve into the topic. So, Daniel, I don't know if I answered your question. I didn't face any stigma, and even if there was stigma, I did not give a damn because I mean I knew what I wanted. I knew where I made my mistakes, and I was ready to do better. And when I was ready to do better, because I gave enough room, I did give enough room. In fact, I called the cops on this guy. He was supposed to be in jail for 2 days, but I made sure he was in jail for a week. I made sure he would be, and that is because I had called his family. I had done everything. I called his friends. Can you speak to this person to stop? We can have a misunderstanding without going physical. This is America. You can't do this here. This is not Nigeria. And of course, Daniel, because the space is recorded, I would have gone deep into specifics. Because it's recorded, Twitter is becoming a very toxic place. Otherwise, I would have gone really deep into specifics because I want it to be relatable. I want people to listen, and I feel sad that maybe much later, but I wish more people on this space so that because when people hear and they learn, and they start changing the way they think. We When we castigate divorcees, I didn't listen for too long because of course I'm at work. I think I started listening when Crypto Prof was speaking. We don't ask what created the divorce, what caused the divorce. A divorcee is a tag. And before I continue, there is nothing wrong. It is to each his own. To each his own, to each her own. Like I said in your last space, people have a right to their choices. People have a right to the pursuit of happiness, however they want to pursue the happiness. Are people who happiness for them is money? There are women who happiness for them is marrying a comfortable man. They don't care whether he's ugly. They don't care whether he can take care, he's good in bed. They don't care about any other thing. Let there be money. They don't care whether he's treated. So we're all different. We all come from different perspectives. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different orientations. Like I said, I grew up fully. I was a full adult before my father died, and I had a father who was a very deep man. My mother is from Anambra State. My father is from Akwa Ibom State. So I didn't have that. I would say I was well grounded. I didn't come from a money. You must like money. Oh, it has to be money first. No, no, no. I didn't come from that. In fact, my husband, Jimmy. Of course, I remember I've told my story. My husband is the first man who would have wanted to marry me. We were classmates. The man I'm married to right now, we were classmates. We married for a very long time. We were classmates. He's the first person who wanted to marry me. And you know the reason why I did not marry him, or why I did not agree at that time? Because he was the only son. And the mother was stupendously rich. Stupendously rich. I did not want a rich boy. Because I come from a very humble background. My parents were not poor, but they were not rich. I did not want any rich boy. I wanted, somebody from my kind of background. My father was a civil servant, even though much later he delved into politics, but it wasn't core politics. He just used to write for politicians, write books and write speeches, you know. But I came from a very humble background, even on my mother's side, even though my mother is from Anambra State, a very humble background, you know. I did not want to marry a rich. The father was the chairman of the IRS at that time. The mother had, I don't know how to describe the woman's money. She had money at that time. So I did not marry him because I didn't even, go on I mean, even though I had a relationship at that time in school, but, he finished in political science, joined us in law. Law was my first degree, but his law was his second degree. So, he was a very good looking, person. He used to go abroad, like, go abroad with Friday, come back Sunday. the UK, Europe in particular. So I wasn't going abroad at that time. I didn't go abroad all through, I didn't do all that because my parents could not afford that. I wasn't from that stock. So I didn't marry him at that time because I felt, no, I beg, rich boy, fine boy, no, you know. And he's the first person I wanted to marry me. But it eventually happened. It eventually happened. I went and married, the person I married. But eventually, this same guy that wanted to marry me, while we were in school, in the university, still eventually married me. We're here together. So I think the only, hopefully, the only, or one of the major reasons why people will start seeing divorcees or married divorcees differently is when they see the quality of marriage that divorcee is having. If I am happy in my current marriage, people are seeing it, then when people see, they believe. But if I'm in my second marriage and I'm still having the same issues, or maybe I divorce again, then divorce will be a no-no. But it still does not stop people from doing what they want to do. And not everybody will marry a divorcee. Not everybody can live with somebody who already has children. Not everybody can marry a woman who has been married before. So if it's not your thing, then don't delve into it. Some of us take risk. It was a risk. Even though, like I said, he wanted to marry me before, but we're good friends, very good friends, all through. You know, he was already still in Nigeria at that time. Oh, of course, we're classmates. How now, he'll hail me, I'll hail him. And immediately he heard I was divorced. He jumped right into it. So my case is not a typical case. It's not as if I just, met him like you meet any other man, randomly, a total stranger. This one, we were classmates. He was a very well-known person, you know, uh, and of course, during our wedding, our classmates from all over were there. We had a big wedding, So, um, from what I know now, um, there is nothing wrong with marrying a divorcee. I'm talking from experience. Perhaps if I did not experience it, I will not. I won't be in a good position to talk about it. There is nothing absolutely wrong with marrying a divorcee. If you don't mind taking that risk, go ahead. It's a title. Divorcee is just a title. It's a tag. It's a tag. A good person is a good person, divorced or not. A good person is a good person, divorced or not. The same way you go in marrying that fresh person as a package, that is how you marry that divorcee as a package, even though a divorcee, of course, comes with some experience, comes with some baggages. Even a single person can come as a baggage. So it depends on the two people, and it depends on what you're up against, you know. When I did mine, honestly, I did not even, my plan was not to marry again. And even if I had to marry again, it was never going to be a Nigerian. My mother still uses it to mock me. It was never, I said never. I stopped attending anything Nigerian. I stopped. It was even Peter Obi that brought me to Nigerian Twitter. I was not on Nigerian Twitter. I did not want anything Nigerian around me. You know, I did not want at that time, I didn't want anything Nigerian around me because I didn't want the mentality. I didn't want to deal with in-laws. I didn't want to deal with all that. We make life so hard for ourselves. Simple things will make it so difficult. You see a sister-in-law, because she's not happy in her own marriage, she wants to just, come and make life unbearable for you for no reason. For no reason. One of my issues was because I could not kneel down as a Yoruba person. These people were not Yoruba people. They just grew up in Lagos. They're Lagos people. And of course, happen to speak Yoruba. They're from Delta. You want me anytime I want to talk to you, I thought I did not marry a Yoruba man. If I married a Yoruba man, I know it's the culture. I'm an Akwa Ibom girl. I didn't marry a Yoruba man. If I married a Yoruba man, yes. You guys are not Yoruba. So why do I have to kneel down for you? Why do I have to kneel down for you? So little things like that. But the major one was physical abuse, not wanting to share things, not being open. He wasn't a womanizer, but having land documents and you're giving it to your sisters. Who wants to operate like that? Having, it was a very rich family, super rich too. And another thing is, when I left, I did not take a dime. I only took what belonged to me. I did not take, in fact, before I left, there was a document I had to sign for money to be, because he was the executor of the father's will. I don't want. I left empty. I left empty. I could have made good money from the whole thing, but I did not. I walked away. I did not want anything. Even much later, when I was much later, while I was married, my current husband, I found out that there was something where I was supposed to sign, and in fact, his record still had me as his next of kin. My family had to call him and call his family and say, take her name off your next of kin. He did everything for me to come back. I said, no, because I went through hell and back. Only 2 weeks after marriage, I had a slap on my face. Say, 2 weeks. 2 weeks after and I heard somebody say at times you will know, at times you will not know. You will not know. When the slap landed on my face, I was like, what? What did I get myself into? What did I get myself into? 2 weeks. We were still on honeymoon when it happened. 2 weeks. It was after that slap that I told myself I will leave this guy. This marriage will not last. 2 weeks. I kept it to myself, I was trying to see, okay, how it goes. And then I had told my dad, I have brothers, I have cousins on both sides. My cousins don't play with me. In fact, my family on both sides, they don't play with me. Anything concerning me, all of them are there. When I had my second marriage, all of them came from everywhere. They were there. So, several warnings. This is the apple of our eyes. Oh, this one, she doesn't play. She eats, everybody eats. So we don't play with her. The bobo continue. Abuse, heavy one. When we went to court here, the judge was a white judge, because I tried to file the divorce in Nigeria. They told me I live in California. It's a very long journey. You can't be traveling often. If I were living in maybe New York, I can be going to Nigeria often, but I'm not going to be traveling, you know how divorce cases can be. So I filed it here. Within 6 months, I got my divorce. I got my, final judgment, you know. And when we were in court, the judge told him that the next time, before, I filed, the next time you touch her again, we're taking you straight to the airport. This is not Nigeria. So that Nigerian thing, he brought it here, and you know, all the submission and all the nonsense. But for me, the major one was abuse, because I'm not from that kind of family. I'm from a family where if you do something wrong, they talk to you, civil, you know. There was so much to deal with, so much to deal with. And when it was time, I carried my things, I left, and I never looked back. And I swore I was never going to marry again. So nobody sets out to be a divorcee. I mean, to the best of my knowledge. I don't know if there are people who, well, maybe there are people who just go in and, they have it all planned out. But most, I don't want to be absolute, most people who get married do not set out to become divorcees. But like I said, marriage is a package. You never know what you'll find. You keep opening and opening and opening as you keep going and you keep seeing whatever comes out. So why would anybody, I mean, like somebody like me, why would I get involved with somebody who is physically abusive? Why on earth will I have my eyes open? For what? What does he want to give to me that I've not seen? Or what physical appearance? I have solid looking brothers. What have I not seen? Tall man? Uh, or hunk? I have all that. I have all that in my family. What do I want to see? What do I want to see that I've not? So that it came as a shock. And I have this retiree. He's an American who asked me one very serious question one day. Long term, long term, do you see yourself being with this guy? Do you see this guy as someone that when you fall ill, he'll be there for you? Because you see, marriage, you have to think of the bad sides of it. Will this person be with me when I fall? Will this person remain when I'm sick? Will this person care for me? I see old some people who are sick and couples. You see the man rolling the wife, in the wheelchair. Can he dedicate that kind of time for you? Those are the questions we should be asking. Because life will come at you. If you're ill, can this person clean your poop? Can this person clean your poop? Can he carry you when you're ill, when you're down, when you cannot walk? God forbid if there's an accident. Will he be there for you? That is what marriage is about, not submission, and that is nothing. When life hits you, will that person be there through the long haul? That is what marriage is about. Is this person not going to be nurturing towards you? Is it going to allow you, what do you call it, blossom? One of the things my husband told me, I asked him one time, but why did you not really come out? Because I was dating somebody in school and I was like, why? Because he was telling me a lot of stories after, one time he wanted to go for a party and he asked somebody if I was available. And the person told him, no, I was not available. He was just telling me how he'd really tried to get close to me, before, we were friends, but I didn't know he had, feelings for me, you know. I said, why? And he said, no. Because I liked you so much, I wanted you to blossom. And if you were with somebody else, I didn't want to disrupt it. I liked you that much not to come and disrupt your life or disrupt your choices or your choice in a man, even though I would have preferred you to be with me. So when somebody really cares about you, all the person wants is your good. For you to look good, for you to be, for you to always, what I mean? For anything that upgrades you, anything that makes you look good physically. And from I put both of them side by side, there are two opposites. The difference is clear. So why will I be with a man that I will be unhappy with? When I can take a risk and go and be with one that will make my life worthwhile, this short life. Why would I be with a man who I'm unhappy with? because I want to be married or because I don't want to be called a divorcee. To hell with anybody who thinks being a divorcee is a bad thing. It's okay for you not to want a divorcee, but whether it's a bad thing, no, it is not. Why should it be? If somebody is in a place and that place does not support the person's happiness, why do we think we have a right to make that person stay there? Is this short life? Because you don't want people to give you that tag, or because you don't want to face any stigma. Has anybody died because of stigma? Has anybody died because someone stigmatized you? So we need to start thinking in those lines. Why would you stay in a marriage where a man beats you up all the time? Or a man treats you as if you're less than? Something that should be a partnership. For what? Do you know how many near-death experiences I faced in that short marriage I was with that guy? There was a time this guy used what do you call it? The a mop. It wasn't even anything serious. Used it, held my neck. I almost died that day. But I'm a very strong person. I pushed him back. What saved him was I was a very strong person. That's what saved me. I'm physically very strong. I fought back. While I was, of course, I'm here. While I was getting ready to get myself together, was I going to stay in the state or was I going to leave and go to a different state? I was trying to sort all that out while I was still there. And the day I left, he did not know. I just carried my things. My mother and my brothers, of course, my father had passed at that time. I was carried my things that day. Bro, you all, my cousins came from where they came from. My family were all around me. And so we just they packed my thing. I left and I slept for the first time in my life. I slept so peacefully. So why don't we also be empathetic with people who we give that tag? Or because somebody is a divorcee, I understand looking out for yourself. That is okay. And like I said, everybody has a right to make their choices. But I think it is wrong and unfair and inhumane of us to think that because somebody is a divorcee, it automatically makes the person a bad person. Or because you are on your own, I don't know. We need to start wiping off that mentality. There is nothing wrong. If you're not happy in your marriage, you leave. That person is not going to be put in the car. Nobody has been. I've not seen two people buried in one casket. I've not seen two souls go together. People go alone. So why would you remain in a marriage that you know does not serve you? Because you're afraid of that tag, divorcee. Can we listen to ourselves at times? Our thought process? Nobody wants to be with a divorcee. I understand that. But, like Americans will say, it is what it is. It is what it is. If you find yourself in that position, if life gives you lemon, you make lemonade out of it. You have a right, you have a right, you have every right to be happy. And nobody on earth should dictate your happiness or dictate who you should be with. And you can only give an ear to what you want to hear. If you don't want to hear all the rubbish said about, people who are divorced and single, you will not hear it. So, Daniel, thank you so much. Let us start learning to push away the noise of people's voices. It's not going to change the price of tea for us. And your happiness should be at the forefront. Your happiness should be at the forefront. Whether you have children or you don't have children. Because eventually those children are going to grow and leave. Right now, it's just me and my husband. The children are no longer living with us. So you can imagine if I was not happy in my marriage, how my life would be now. So we have to try and be, proactive about it and think forward. So in my opinion, and I'm speaking very confidently, there is nothing wrong with marrying a divorcee. Societal stigmatization is small-mindedness, is only for small-minded people, because I don't see any reason why you would stigmatize anybody when you don't want to be stigmatized. Empathy. Empathy. The golden rule. What you don't want for yourself, don't do it to someone else. If you're not going to like stigmatization, then don't stigmatize other people. Yeah. So, Daniel, thank you so much. It's a good topic, and I'm going to say more things later, but I'm speaking from a place of passion because I'm beginning to relieve a lot of the, what do you call it? Relieve, the abuse I faced, So, yeah. That's why I'm a bit passionate about. So, thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you very much. I'll listen in. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Integrity. That was really, really, you know, sound one. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing your story. Such an inspiring one. Thank you very much. All right. I see Inem in the building. She left. That I just saw Inem right now. Okay. I think she has left. I see Obi Mind. I see Queen. What's that's the complete name there? Queen Arit. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Soft. I see you. Um, the good neighbor. Okay. The good neighbor is still here. Thank you. Firecrack. Thank you. Is this Aquafina? Okay, Aquafina, I see you. Thank you. Then we have Sam Black. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So I saw Ifua, you know, I saw Ifua here, and then I'd like to, give you the mic. Fidelity, I suppose you have a question for Madam Integrity. Please, if that's correct, do me 100, please. Awesome, awesome. Okay, but before we do that, let's quickly hear from Ifua. All right, so let's take a few minutes and then hear from Ifua what he has to say. Ifua, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining. Take the mic, please.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you so very much. Honestly, between Madam Integrity and Jimmy, I mean, this, I feel like I'm just going to lend my voice. They have spoken well. And so I'm saying hello to everybody. It's an interesting topic, to be honest. And I think I must tell you honestly, I didn't even know there was a stigmatization when it came to when we talk about divorced people. I mean, I thought everybody was a human being, right? And everybody was treated as that. And I think that is the foundation of the most of the problems that we have today, regardless of who you are or what your beliefs are. I think that as much as we don't treat ourselves as human beings first. I mean, so treat people the way you would love to be treated. I think that is the problem we have today. And so, say for instance, you get a new job and you join this. Let's assume you join. I mean, for people who are contemplating, can I marry a divorced person or I'd rather just be a single person? You get a job today. You have all the qualifications. You have the experiences, you have the skill set, and you still undergo training. And when you have questions to ask, you will find those who have been tenured in that job to ask your questions from, right? So, same thing. If you look at somebody who's previously been in a relationship or maybe even in a marriage, right, you will expect that they will have the wealth of knowledge. to bring into that relationship or into that second marriage, as it may be. Now, that being said, I know that there was a conversation around asking questions before, as a single person, asking questions about that partner who was divorced or who used to be previously married. I find that a lot of marriages that even end, and I could be wrong, but a good number of marriages that end has ended as a result of mismatch. It's necessarily not because the male partner was horrible or the female partner was horrible, but that people find that they shouldn't even have been, in that marriage in the first place. Some people have married, made choices around marriage that, they thought was going to be beneficial to them, rather than looking at the depth of why they're getting into that marriage. What is the substance for why I am marrying, right? And so when you start to find that some things are lacking, and you're not getting what you thought you were going in for in the first place, then of course there's conflict. And then if there's no proper conflict management, people then tend to go their separate ways at some point. Now, I will ask questions of somebody who's divorced maybe twice or thrice. I will ask questions, and because, not because I think that they have a problem, but I would like to get an understanding of why they have been divorced twice or thrice, right? But not for someone who's been divorced once. Okay. That being said, I also find that even today, you see there are a lot of women who will marry a man who's been previously married in a heartbeat. But I don't think I can say the same for men marrying divorced women. A lot of women don't find single women don't find a divorced man, they don't look at him as a plague. In fact, there are women who that I know don't want to have their own children. So they're better off with a man who's been previously married and has his children. Not because they want to play mommy to somebody else's child, but they're happy to just be in the life of that child to whatever degree that is expected of them, right? So to say that, to start to look at a divorced person as if they have a stigma, or like it's a disease. I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, it's even interesting to hear that people will say they can't marry a divorced person because they're divorced. I mean, to each his own. But I think that what the takeaway for me here is, when you start to look at people as human beings first, and start to relate with people as humans. So what do you want from a partner? What are your values? What are your morals? Does this person possess those things, right? What is their family background like? Do they have what like your own family? Does it feel like, oh, it feels like I'm going straight from my family to my own family, even though I'm getting married, right? You start to look at the tangible things that make up for a partner, not because you think that oh, they are divorced, and okay, because they are divorced. Those, essentially, what I'm trying to say is, look at people based on what you think will work for you, or how it will influence or make you a better person in life. And don't judge people based on antecedents of, or because they were previously married and that marriage failed. I've seen marriages that didn't work out, and then these partners go ahead and remarry, and they are happy and they are living lives. You will, until, except they tell you they were previously married, you will never know, because they're in a marriage now, and everything is golden for them. So that we carry on with the mentality, and like integrity said, this is 2025. Like, how do you still think like people in the 40s, 1940s, I don't know, in 1930s, like, this is 2025, with all of the evolution, with technology, with social media. You would, as a human being, sit down today and look at a divorced person and say, I'm single, I can't be with you because you've been previously married. Not that you're looking at that person and you're saying to yourself, oh, this person is kind, and they're gentle, and they're thoughtful, and they are, they value me, they respect me, they love me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, to answer your question, would I marry a divorced person? 100% I will marry a human being. Whether he's divorced, whether he's single, I will marry a human being first. So that's just what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, brilliant one. Thank you so much, Ifua. Thank you for your submission. Quite balanced as well. Thank you. And just saying this from this point of view, before I just gave, I think I said it in my last space when someone was asking what are the first things to look out for before you marry a person. And then, many times I get to ask questions like, what are those things you want or look out for first, you know, in your partner? And then many people say someone that has the fear of God, someone that is God fearing. As much as that is important, first thing I said is marry a human being. All right. And then you see that question she just answered. She said, I'll marry a human being. Because truth is, if you want to look at it, we that are divorcees, all right, if we want to look at it from this other angle, what if you were a divorcee? What if it were you, that it happened to? What if you were in that shoes? Do you say, what are you saying, that people should not, or somebody should not marry you? Are you saying that because you are divorced, you are not to be married again? Now, these are the balance. Yes, it doesn't take out, of course, it doesn't take out your preference as as a person. This is what you want, and then you are not supposed to impose it on other persons. But if you're trying to look at the balance to this whole thing, there are factors that, like I asked Jimmy, and he was trying to, what is that thing that works for you? What's that thing that will make you say, okay, I'm going to damn every consequences, and I'm going to go ahead with this person, so long as this person is human, so long as this person has, the qualities I am looking out for. The is such that I can, live life with or do together with. So these are factors that we are not, many times we don't pay attention to. I had a young lady, after, my separation in 2014, 2015, I had a young lady that, I think I shared this in the last space. Of course, maybe because of it's a recorded space, I might not be able to go really deep into it. But this young lady was someone that was working with me. She was my secretary at that time, and like I said, I picked somewhat, helped her from, when she was done from school, and then she wasn't able to get a job and all of that. So I told her, okay, come work for me. She was managing a business for me, in one part of the country, and I was always in and out. She was the one in charge. And eventually, when this whole thing started, I said, okay, we've been together for a while. I'd like to come know your parents. I'd like to make this, what do you think? Are you okay? She said she was actually okay. All right. And then I remember that before that time, I'll give her some money. Okay, take care of your family, send this to your mom, send this to your siblings, and just take care of your family, generally. And then I was shocked. One of the days I walked in to the room, and then she was on a call with the mother, and the phone was on speaker. And then she was trying to tell the mother that, oh, D1 has, pulled, he said he has asked me to marry him, I marry him and all that. And the mother said, God forbid. I heard it, and the mother said, God forbid. You cannot marry him. He has been married before. You cannot marry, you know. I'm like, oh, and I heard it, and she couldn't undo it. All right. She could not undo the call so that I didn't hear it. So when I heard it, I just smiled. And then she just came to me trying to pacify. And I told her, no, it's totally fine. Then I asked her a question. That's your mom's idea. What do you think? That's the question I asked her. And she couldn't answer that question. Honestly, she couldn't answer the question. I waited to hear what her response was going to be. She couldn't answer that question. And then, fast forward to today, as I speak with you, the lady is almost 40. She's still not married. She's still not married. Sadly, I'm not saying it is because she didn't marry me, but here we are. Sometimes we're not human, all right? We're just trying to think, that we are better off because we are single and because this person has been through this issue or situation. They are not humans, and we can't treat them as such. It's a very big challenge, and that's why I said, Madam Integrity, sadly, it happens, all right, in Nigeria. Yes, these are still, realities in Nigeria that we've had to go through. But thankfully, I'm in a space where, I'm loving I'm loving the marriage I am right now. I'm enjoying it, all right? I can't even say, that I'm not, because I am getting all the things I didn't get right in the first marriage. I'm getting them right now. I'm not saying that it's a perfect place, all right, but I'm saying that I am way, 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 way better and way happier than, I was, in my previous marriage. And it's a good thing. And I think it's a point where we need to begin to look at for some reasons, because if we don't pay attention to these things, we will, at the end of the day, settle for less. Because I will, for if you ask me, I hear about single mothers, how they people do not get to value most of them. Like I shared a story earlier, before this, immediately we started the space, how a young lady, who was married to a man, and then after a few years, the man just left her unannounced, left her, didn't even tell. They looked for him for over 3 years, and then they couldn't find him. And so the lady decided to move on with her life. So a few men that came afterwards, trying to ask her hand in marriage, she was, always telling them the story of, oh, I have a child, my husband left me and all of that. And then somewhat, after that, they would just diagonally or stylishly just walk away from her. They'll just leave her to herself. And then eventually somebody came along and she went and dumped the child with the grandmother. And when somebody came, she didn't tell this guy about the child. At this time, this child was about 7. And then so during the traditional, rite and all that, while they were eating and drinking, some of the persons that were, family to the lady, were just talking while they were eating and said, this one that this guy is marrying this lady. I hope the lady has told the guy that she has a child. All right. And, some of the groom's friends that came around, overheard these conversations and they linked it to the guy. And then the guy got really angry, that he wasn't informed before he got married to her and all of that. It brought a very serious issue at the end of the day. I didn't know how the story ended, but, at the end of the day, it wasn't a good thing. All right. I feel that the lady should have still gone, open up to her. I'm sorry, to the guy, that okay, this was what happened, and this is why, you know, I I didn't want to tell you, or why I told you. I think she should have just been open to the last, to the man, and then let the man be the one to decide if he still wants to marry her or not. But maybe because of the issues of this stigmatization that we're talking about, because all the guys that came along did not want to marry her. See, these are the factors and these are the issues that many people are still going through. And of course, I talked about culture as well. There are other places where they do not allow men, all right, they do not allow men to marry women that are divorced, all right. Like Jimmy said, some of them are seen as evil. They do not allow men to marry them. They see them as people that are unfit, to be married again, because they feel that they were the reasons for the divorce that they had. So a lot of issues and all that. So I'm looking at having this conversation like a part two of it, on Friday, because of my space is always Mondays and Fridays. We look at having a part two where we can get Madam Integrity to come share those deep things, and it will not be recorded. It's going to be an uncensored, space where you can come and bear it the way it is and get other people to share their thoughts and share their minds as it is, raw as it is, why a lot of persons will not want to marry, divorcees, really. And then we can begin to, have a direction to it. So let me allow Fidelity ask a question. I think he said he has a question for Madam Integrity. Fidelity, you have the mic.
All right, thank you very much again. Thank you very much. Yeah, my question is, Madam Integrity, I, I humbly respect and honored your submission. It was very fantastic. In fact, I learned so much from it. So my question is just that in the in the in the aspect whereby the other partner, which we call them divorcee or single mother, has a child. So how do you think such thing can really work out? Because in the place, like I factor something very important from the points crypto prop drop. Was saying in the place whereby someone has a scenario that bringing a child into the marriage, the child was very, very rude, and they can't discipline such child. So, the marriage was not very comfortable because, in the sense whereby they are not being allowed, the other party is not allowed to, the other party to discipline the child, and so something like that. So, how did you think someone can manage such scenario? Or what did you feel towards it? And I'm very sure maybe during your own time then, you said when you left your partner, I'm sure there's kid in between. So how did you undo it with your new partner? So how does it work? I want to learn from that aspect. Hope my question is clear.
Yeah, your question is clear. You see, just like and thank you for your question. Thank you. Just like every other thing in life, I mean, there are always downsides, you know, and that is why I said in my submission that people should do what suits them, what they can handle. There are people who manage such situations very well. Some cannot manage such situations very well. But if the two people come together and have a structure, there must be a structure. And by structure, I mean if the two people, maybe one person has children or both parties have children. Because, we typically think that when people typically get divorced when they're old. No, like mine happened pretty early, you know. So if the two people have children, or if it's one-sided, there should be, I mean, the main people should be the two of you. Then you have an arrangement. Maybe the mother of the children is still alive, or the father is still alive, and whoever the children is staying with full time. There has to be an arrangement that suits both parties. Because the whole essence of this thing is you want to be with this woman and you want to be with this man, and maybe they either have children on both sides or one side, or they don't even have children at all. But when children are involved, the truth is it's not typically easy, particularly when they're grown. I've seen a case where the children were still, really, tiny, and they were with the man. Yeah, there were two of them, and the woman was able to raise them as her own, and even had her own children on top of it. So there are families who, those are things that you have to discuss. I mean, there are no, it can't be perfect. It cannot be perfect. That is the baggage we're talking about. That bringing those baggages, but how do you manage those baggages is what matters. You have to think of how to manage the baggages. And most times the baggages are maybe you have children for, in the previous marriage. There's nothing a structure cannot solve. You have a structure, then while you function within that structure, or you function in a separate structure that the two of you, the two divorcees, have, or maybe one divorcee, and so there has to be an arrangement somehow. People have done these things over the years. You see, these topics are not new. These things have happened even during our parents' time. They had divorcees at that time. People married them. You know, Theophilus Danjuma, the wife he married had children for a different man, right? The senator. Yeah, Theophilus Danjuma, yeah. The Edo State woman he married, I've forgotten her name, the pretty woman. She had children from a different man before she married Theophilus Danjuma. How did they do it? They're still together, you know. Okadibo had children for what's the woman that died? The professor in Nsuka. She used to be a minister. That died. So these things are not new. They're not new. They've been there. People have gone through it. They've worked it out. So once there is a structure, even when you have a fresh marriage, there has to be a structure. You can't have a marriage without a structure. There must be a structure. A structure, an example of a structure is my husband is about to come back now. He sends me a text, sweetie, I'm on my way. My husband never leaves the office without because he leaves really early. He comes back early. Comes back. He leaves the office about 3:30. My husband always since we got married sends me a text, sweetie, I'm on my way, or sweetie, I'm going here, I'm going there. That is a structure. We have a structure. Same thing because I close later. I'm working from home today. You know, if I'm going to the office, if I'm on my way, I let him know. If I'm in the train, I let him know. There's a structure. So you guys function within that structure and everybody should be good. And of course, this structure is not going to be favorable to one person. It has to be mutual. How does it work for you? How does it work for the other person? So, whether you have children involved, you don't have children involved, if two divorced people or one divorcee or people are involved in a marriage with a divorcee, once you have an arrangement, you'll be fine. What matters is the two of you are coming together. Of course, you know you're coming with baggages. So whatever baggage you're coming into, you're coming with, you work with that baggage. You sit down and you have an arrangement. How is our family going to work? How are we going to do it? And people have done these things, before now, and they have succeeded. You know, so and it depends. I can't be specific because it depends on the two people involved, what the arrangement is. So it depends, but there has to be an arrangement. There has to, just like you, the woman, the mother drops the children in the morning while the father goes to work. Then when they close from work, the father goes to pick up the children. Those are structures. There must be a structure for everybody's benefit and everybody's happiness. So I don't know if I answered your question. Did I? Okay. Yeah. Has to
Okay.
be a structure. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Daniel, I'm so sorry. Let me use this opportunity to quickly say that, like I said, I know there are a few people in this space. Like I said, I am. I will not trade my husband for anything in the world. There are times when I used to cry and say, "Oh my God," and I kept saying, "Never, never, never, I'll never marry again." Well, my mother did all kinds of things. My friends did all kinds of things at that time. In fact, after 1 year, my friends were already on me, online dating, and I had people all over me. So when he came, and we've been friends, this person was under my nose. So at times when I see women trying to look for, find the person under your nose. This one was in front of me. Immediately, I told him I was divorced. My husband did not waste time. Immediately, he jumped in. It was not up to 2 days, and he asked me if I was going to marry him. So it depends on the person. This mentality that, a lot of Nigerian, there are some Nigerian men that take the bull by the horn, and he doesn't have to be an alpha male. It does not have to be an alpha male. Some men take the bull by the horn. They don't care. They do what they have to do. And we've been on it for how many years now? I will not trade him for anything. He's my friend. Like I said, we're classmates. We're very good friends. We look out for each other. We have our fights, don't get me wrong, but our fights are very short lived. And when I mean fight, it's never anything serious. Never anything serious because we went into it with the audio awareness that this is where this person is coming from, and I don't want to do anything that will remind this person of where they're coming from. Or I don't want to do anything that will make this person regret. But apart from that, he's a totally different personality from the person I was with. It's a totally different personality from the person I was with. And I have not had any regret. The day my ex was told, the day my ex, one of our family friends, informed him that I was married, the guy said to say no day there, say the man for four. This is the truth. He said the man for four, and the man did not know. Because my ex kept coming to me and begging me to take his things out of court and come back. And I'm not coming back to you. God forbid. God forbid. Me and you again will continue. Huh. God forbid. I'll be calling police on you. Is it how chaotic I want my life to be? God forbid. He almost fell. The man said if he were not there that day, if we would not stand close to him, he would have fallen. Until today, he's not yet married. Till today. And you know what? Exactly how I left the house. These are people coming back to exactly how I left the house is how it is. Nothing has been added from the story I heard. So we don't just stigmatize because we don't know what people go through. We don't people have a right to save their necks. Life now once, so life now once. Don't stay because you don't want stigmatization and you stay in perpetual unhappiness. This short life. Why? If you make a mistake, retrace your steps. Retrace your steps. Don't stay in that mistake. Like me, I said I didn't know he was a wife beater. God forbid I stay with a wife beater. My father never laid his hands on my mother. Never. Never. It's not something we hear of in my family. Then me, that is the apple of my family's eyes, and will go and be, God forbid, I will kill him before he kills me. I would have killed him before he kills me. Retrace your steps if you've made a mistake. Daniel, just like you, retrace your steps. And it doesn't matter whether you are in Nigeria or whether you are in the midst of everybody stigmatizing you. To hell with their lives. Whoever wants to stigmatize you, let them go face their own lives. So we need to start being frank about these things. Let them go face their own life. Life is short. Life is short. One of my friends was pushed through the balcony by her husband. He's in jail now in Nigeria. Emeka Wawa, that was his name when we were in school. My husband, we all know him. He did not know the maid saw him pushing her. He pushed her through the balcony. They were having and he was always beating her until that day, out of anger, he pushed her. That is how she died. That is how she died. Fantastic person. Because she wanted to remain in a marriage that was not suiting, that was not doing anything for her. That is how she left this life, just like that, and left 3 children behind. It's not worth it. Retrace your steps. If you're in it right now in a bad marriage, retrace your steps. Either get out, be single. If a man wants to find you, be open. Be open. If I were not open, I would not enjoy what I'm enjoying today. I kept saying, God forbid, God forbid. My husband has been the best thing God has done for me after my father and my mother. The best thing that God has done for me. If I fall right now and I call my husband, I will wait because I know he will come. He will leave everything he's doing to come. So do not take a risk. Life is about risk. You're not gonna say, oh, he's a divorcee and he's a fantastic person. It's somebody that you can flow with. And because he's a divorcee, no, I don't want. Why? And you allow someone to love you. Allow someone to genuinely love you. Daniel, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Integrity. Thank you for dropping that again. All right, so let's quickly run to Married Bachelor. His hands has been up. Married Bachelor, you have the mic. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I'm currently on my laptop. Yeah, I just joined. This is my first time spacing here, and I actually love this space. I'm somebody who is 100% on marriages, relationship, right? So it's a beautiful conversation. Madam Integrity, thank you for sharing your stories. It's really amazing hearing from you. I wanted to actually ask a question, but I think you give me the answer towards the end because I'm an IT consultant. Part of what I do is I counsel women, I counsel men who are intending to get married. I counsel married couples, because in this time and age, most couples prioritizes only premarital counseling. But after the wedding, then they neglect postmarital counseling. That's major causes of divorce we have today. So for me personally, even though the Bible is against divorce, but for me personally, the only time I would tell my client to say, hey, divorce this man is when he's becoming physically abusive. That is the first ground. If your husband is doing any other thing, there's always a way out. But for you to be alive when he's physically abusive, and oh no, you have to leave, you have to run, you have to stay alive for the people who love you. So yes. So back to the question, would you marry a divorcee? For me personally, it's a no. It's a no, right? It's a capital no. Now, that is not to say divorced people are bad or whatever. No, it's a personal preference, right? It's a personal preference, and people varies. Now, one thing is certain. I need to clarify because when integrity says something about marriage, happiness, the essence of getting married is not to be happy. I tell it anyway. It's not to be happy. Marriage does not guarantee you happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is not a journey. Happiness is a feeling that happens within a time frame. So marriage requires a lot of hard work. Now, it's really sad that in today's marriage idea, especially to women, they just believe that if I'm not happy, I need to exit. If I'm bored, I need to exit. Marriage does not guarantee you. Marriage requires a lot of hard work, especially in this social media marriage or social media era we are in. In the time of our grandparents, our forefathers, it was way easier compared to now. Now, another thing I'll clear here is, to be honest with you here, people these days, both men and women are guilty of this. We get married for the wrong reasons, for the many, many wrong reasons. The essence of dating is for you and I to know each other. Are we compatible? That's why I always counsel my client to say, before you marry this man, before you marry this woman, please live together. Live together at least 3 months. No matter how much the man tries to pretend or how much the woman tries to pretend, you must identify some red flags which you need to ask yourself questions. Can I deal with this for the rest of my life? Gone are those days of saying, what's it called? Fornication is a sin and all of that. We are past that era. Now there's what we call sexual compatibility, physical, emotional, psychological, mental, spiritual compatibility. These are factors that must be checked. That's why I said live with each other. Now, if your husband or husband to be is a wife beater, within that 3 months, there is no way you will not see the signs. If he's a smoker, if he's a drunk, there is no way you will not see the signs. If he's a womanizer, you will see the signs. And if your woman, for instance, is a lazy woman who doesn't know how to cook, who is disrespectful, whatever flaws it is, you will see the signs. You must see the signs. So we get married for the wrong reasons. Now, I take myself, for instance. I see this lady. She's nice, she's beautiful, she has backside, she has front side, she's everything, but she doesn't have character. She doesn't know how to cook. She's not domesticated. But because she's so beautiful, because she's presentable, because she's somebody you can easily flaunt outside, I go ahead to marry her. If I do this, I'm being a wicked man. Why? Because I'm going into that marriage to punish her. Because at the end of the day, you get to that marriage, you begin to do what? To pressure her. Oh, you are tired of eating out. You need homemade food. But you and I know this lady doesn't know how to cook and she's not ready to learn. She's not the kitchen kind of person, right? Back to the woman. Because this man is rich, handsome, XYZ, you know he's a smoker, he's a drunk, he's a woman beater. But because he's rich and handsome, he has six packs or whatever, you go ahead to say, I do. And now you get into the marriage, you begin to complain. He drinks too much, he smokes too much, he beats me, blah, blah, blah. But you saw all of this. Now, this is to tell you the fact that marriage do not change anyone. I tell you for free. Marriage do not change anybody. Marriage rather unveils people through identity. So please, before you say I do, because the rate of divorces is really too much and it's annoying. It's annoying. Before you say I do, live with this person, because forever is too long to be with the wrong person. And these days, women divorce their husband based on their mood. Because if you check statistics, 80% of divorces are coming from women. 80%. The truth I will tell you is, I'm not trying to generalize anything, but most men cheat. Most men have side chicks. I know some women will beat their chest and say, my husband is, it's okay. Your husband might not, but I'll tell you for free, most men cheat. So that man you are divorcing your husband for, how do you know if he's not going to cheat on you or not? So on a second thought, cheating is not enough for divorce. I'm telling you for free as a woman, because when you divorce your husband, not every divorcee woman is lucky to get married again, or almost immediately. Not every woman. Not every woman. Some women, before they get lucky to get married again, they have to write like 3-4 dicks of married women, of married men, or younger boys. It's not easy. It's not easy. So we are not encouraging divorce here. Divorce is not good. The Bible condemns it. Jesus made it clear that as a man, do not divorce your husband except for sexual immoralities. That's why before you hear a man divorces his wife, it has to do with sexual immoralities. But for women, women can divorce you for anything. That's why the 80% of the divorces are coming from women. And that comes to my next point, to tell you that a woman has the highest power to make a marriage work. I tell my client for free that a woman can decide if a marriage will work or not. Women are builders, women are nurturers. And the funny thing is, most women have not uncovered this power that God has given to them. The Bible is clear. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and has obtained favor from God. He didn't say he who finds a husband. He who finds a wife. Women are the best gift God gave to man. I'm telling you for free. But women are being carried away by a lot of things, especially social media and all of that. They do not understand the power they have when it comes to submission, when it comes to respect and all of that. Right. I also end by saying a submissive woman can control her husband 100% any day, anytime. Any day, anytime. But again, we are not encouraging divorce. And please, if you are married and you are here, please try to make your marriage work. If your man is not if your man is not beating you physically, if he's a good father and doing every other thing, that marriage can still work. Again, I will tell you for free, there is no perfect marriage in the whole world. There's no, if you see those couples that wears to march in the church every Sunday, same Akara and all of that, if they tell you what they are going through, what the husband is going through, or what the wife is going through, you'll be shocked. There's no perfect marriage out there. There's no perfect woman out there. There's no perfect man out there. Marriage takes two imperfect people to make it work. Two imperfect people to make it work. And please, if you're intending to get married as a man or a woman, please do your due diligence. Check out the flaws of your partner. Can I live with this for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, do not compromise. Do not compromise it. If you can't, don't deal with it. And again, I'll tell you again, marriage is one of the most beautiful sacrament of God. It's so beautiful that I cannot explain it. It's so beautiful. So if you are a man here and you are married, please, the only instruction God gave you is love your wife. That is the only instruction. And if you are a woman here, the Bible says, well, just respect your husband and you will be in control 100%. Right? So I will just submit here by ending this conversation, because when it comes to marriage and relationship, I can talk for hours without stopping on different topic, different part, and all of that. But other than that, Daniel, thank you for hosting this space. I would love to join once in a while to contribute and counsel people and inspire people, because social media is making people really scared about marriage. But I'll tell you, marriage is too beautiful. But all you need to do is be honest. Do not compromise. Don't marry a drunk and hoping that it's going to change because he's now married. Marriage don't change people. Don't marry a woman who is not domesticated and you expect her to come in and start doing the house chores. It doesn't change people, except people want to change. Again, give it a shot, but again, involve God in all your dealings. Marriage is beautiful, and we are saying no to divorces. Let's try as much as we can. Married well so that we can reduce divorce rate. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You the mic.
All right, thank you so much, married bachelor. All right, for your submission. It's okay. Thank you so much. All right, so this is this has been an amazing time. Honestly, it's been a very wonderful time. Having this discussion for those that are here and those that are listening that I can't see from here. It's been an amazing night. Thank you so much, Madam Integrity, Married Bachelor, Ifua, Fidelity. I almost said Infidelity, forgive me. Fidelity, Jimmy, the good neighbor. I like that name. Whoa, I like that name, the good neighbor. Then Namdi, thank you so much. Sam, and that's I know. Thank you, Madam Integrity. I see your hands up. Please take the mic.
I wanted to address some of the things the last speaker said. I don't know who that last speaker was. I was actually off. I wasn't watching. Um, you said it's the speaker is still here, is it?
Yeah, I'm still here. Good
Okay.
evening.
Oh, good evening. Hi. Yeah. So you said a few things I don't, from my experience, I don't think I agree with you. That the only grounds for divorce should be physical abuse. So physical abuse are other forms of abuse. Uh, what if you married somebody who lied to you? What if you married to somebody who, I mean, everything he told you before the marriage was all lies? Are you saying people should live with that kind of a person? There are other things, a lot of other things. What if you're married to somebody from a very bad family? You know? So it's not just abuse. So look, and again, you talked about happiness. I understand. I agree with partly of what you said. That if, happiness is a feeling. That people should not control your happiness. Oh yeah. Just like you have money, you don't have money, you should be happy. Money should not be the reason why, I mean, should not be bad. Sorry, money should not be the reason why, people are not happy. It's a feeling, and you should control that feeling. However, let's be specific here. You come home to a man who doesn't care about you, or to a woman who doesn't care about you. Um, someone who has constantly shown that everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved. Someone who does not see you, see in inverted comma. And it's something you've repeatedly talked about, you repeatedly brought to his attention or her attention. It's not a one-sided thing. Or someone who just treats you terribly. It will affect your mood. It will affect your happiness. Being with a right person, part of being with the right person is to promote your happiness. If you're with a man who talks down on you, not to every woman, there are women who men talk down on them, it's normal. For somebody like me, like I said before, I'm a very educated orientation, I'm from a very broad-minded orientation. Not just my father, my uncles, even on my mother's side, everybody is educated. Like I said before, well, we're not poor, but we're not rich, and we're not money-driven. So we see life in a very broad perspective, or from a very broad perspective. So and I have a man who talks down on me. I have my degrees. I have my 4 degrees. I'm holding my own. I have my job. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of things. I'm bringing things to the table. And he's talking down on me constantly. And you think, oh, I will just shove it aside and it doesn't matter. I'm in control of my happiness. Happiness is a feeling and I continue. How is that even realistic? How is that realistic? So whether we like it or not, the people close to us, the people who we can do away with, are people who we can, it's just like even having a boss that micromanages you. Except you leave that place, or except it is resolved by the higher acre of the leadership, you will remain unhappy in that job. There is no way you can tell me the feeling. So there's no way you can be in a marriage that is toxic, or like you said, you have to do a lot of work. If a marriage is genuine, a real marriage, you don't need too much work. You don't. You wouldn't need a lot of work to be in a good marriage. And right now, I'm working from home, My husband has already texted me he's on his way. I'm not in the mood to cook. I've sent him a text. Sweetie, can you branch and get us lunch? Simple. Sure. That was the response I got. Sure. No big deal. The whole of last week I did not cook. You know why? I was waking up at 4:30 and sleeping at almost 12 midnight. In fact, some days I slept at 2 a.m. because I have a huge project I'm working on for very big clients. And my husband understands that, well, if I gotta keep my job, I gotta keep the clients, then I have to do what I gotta do. And there will not be time to cook because, first of all, I'm not even having enough sleep. And on Friday, what did he do? Let's go to the Nigerian store. We went there. Luckily, they cook goosey and bitter leaf soup. The woman cooks it, for people who don't have time. And my husband chartered it. I couldn't go with him. And he came back with, ready to go meals. Said, no, 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 no. First, don't worry. I got it covered. It should not be hard. It shouldn't be hard. Maybe at the beginning, you guys will, pick your fights and all that. But when you have to put too much work into a marriage, then you guys, the two of you, that means the two of you have no business being together. Because you should be able to sit down and sort things out. And when you sit down and sort things out, the two of you should mean what you say and say what you mean and work together. And then it's easy. I don't mean easy breezy. I don't mean that. But what I mean is, then you don't need too much work. You don't. Because the other person is looking out for your interest. You are looking out for the other person's interest. He knows once I free up, I will cook. So, and I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking what somebody told. I'm speaking from experience. And like I said before, proudly, this is my second missionary journey. I have seen the difference. When you're with the right person, you no go work too hard. A lot of things will not be a big deal. Look, so when you say that, oh, happiness should be a feeling, I shouldn't, I understand, but it should not be absolute. People around us determine our happiness. When you have somebody who is constantly insulting you and putting you down, or like the woman who we saw today trending, her husband was beating her up in front of the children. I don't know how many of you saw that video. Tell me how that woman can be happy. You humiliate and take someone's dignity away from the person. That woman is there probably because she doesn't have money to take care of herself or leave the marriage. A moment that a woman like that goes abroad and she starts to deal with the man, then people will start to scream, scream wolf. Oh, not knowing that it's what he was doing to her in Nigeria. The reason why he was doing that to her is because of the environment. Because you cannot beat a woman like that in a place like America, you will be in jail. You will be in jail. You will be in jail. Nobody will save you. The state will take it over and nobody will save you. And you will not do it again if you dare go close to go to the house again. So these things are relative. And when we say some of these things, I'm more particular about the young people who I understand that we are Nigerians and we have our ways and have a way we think. And at times too, when we say some of these things, let's try and put our children. Because I want to believe that as a father or as a mother, you don't want anyone to touch your child. You even if you hate that child, you're ready to kill for that child if somebody else touches her. Let's try and apply the golden rule. A woman does not make a marriage work. A man does not make a marriage work. Both of them have to make the marriage work. The survival of a marriage does not depend on one person. There is no way. And that is one of the reasons why people divorce. The two people must work together to make it work. It does not depend on one person managing the other person. The two people should manage each other. We keep making it sound as if, if a woman can apply more wisdom, and marriage will work. No, the two of them have to apply more wisdom. So it's not a one-sided thing. And I think we've run a lot with this talking points and rhetoric about, a man, love your wife. Are you saying the man should not also respect his wife? Oh, we keep quoting this Bible. I'm a Christian. And that is the part of the Bible I don't think I like. A man, love your wife. Woman, respect your husband. The woman and the man should love each other. The woman and the man should respect each other. Everything in a marriage must be mutual. Because the woman is a human being. You're not dealing with, she has two hands like you. She has two legs like you. In place of a vagina, you have a penis. She has one head, two ears. She's a human being like you. So why does it have to be, okay, you respect me, I love you? Are you saying a woman should not love the husband? And I want to think that a lot of us quote this, they will bring in that Bible passage just because it's something that we heard and we've grown with, but we've not taken the time to research and ask ourselves, are we trying to say that the women cannot also love their husbands or should not love their husbands? Or are we saying a man should not respect their wives? Respect is one-sided, love is one-sided,
Can I quickly answer
submission is
that?
one-sided. So yeah, I've finished. I was just yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Then I won't take much time, just a few minutes. I'll round up. So you see, most of the issues we have with Christianity is misinterpretation of the Bible, right? Now, when the Bible says, husbands, love your wife, love comes with respect. I cannot love you and not respect you. And when the Bible says, wives, respect your husband, you cannot respect who you don't love. So both works hand in hand. If I'm saying I'm a loving husband and I don't respect you, I just love you, I'm lying to myself. If I must love you, I have to respect you accordingly. So again, this is to every woman here. Do not compare your marriage, your household, your relationship with another person's own. Madam Integrity could be having it all nice. It's okay. Lucky her, all the best to her, wish her a loving marriage. But again, do not compare your marriage with everyone. And this is just a general advice. Whether you have a client of 200 billion, whatever, your husband must come first. I say it anyway. Your husband, your wife must come first. For me, my wife comes first before anybody in the world. Anybody in the world. So I expect the same from my wife. So saying you cannot cook because you have clients and all of that, I don't want people imitating you or comparing their marriages to you, and tomorrow they'll be on their decks and say, "Oh, but then this is not about you. It's not about you." But I just wanted to answer that question to say, love comes with respect. Respect comes with love. So I don't want you to misinterpret that part of the Bible, because sometimes we have issues with the Bible because we lack the understanding, and that's why this frontline pastors keep extorting Africans with the religion, ideology, and misinterpretation of the Bible to suit their fraudulent schemes and all of that, right? I hope I was able to throw more clarity on that part of the Bible, that love goes with respect, respect goes with love. So we must respect our women. And likewise, because some people say women don't love men. It's not true. A woman cannot respect if she doesn't love you. Right? There must be a iota of love. There must be a iota of respect before I can love you. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Madam Integrity.
Daniel, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to respond. Sorry. The reason why I brought that up was because you verbatim mentioned specifically that the Bible says, and I'm quoting you right now, men, love your wives, that all you need to give to your wife is to love her. And you quoted the Bible, men love your wives, women respect your husband. That is why I brought that up. So you all you did now is to clarify, which I've understood. But in the process of trying to quote that passage, I think it's important for us to make it very clear, if since that is also your line of thought, that it should be mutual, and make it very clear that your intention is that it should be mutual. Because the way you quoted it, you made it appear as if all the man needs to give to the wife is love, and all the wife needs to give to the husband is respect. You didn't make it. You didn't say it was mutual. That respect should come from both sides. Love should come from both sides, and that was why I brought that up. So to the issue of me having clients, like I always say, marriage is a very personal thing. I don't know you. I don't know. I don't know how. Your line of thought is valid. I'll do what I want to do. You do what you want to do. I'm not married to your kind of person. Neither are you married to my kind of person. So I am not telling people what to do. I'm just telling you how I roll with my husband. If my dear, look, I'm in the US, and we gotta pay the bills. We gotta pay the bills. That is my reality. And I have a very big client. Um, which I have to attend to. It's not something that happens all the time. This is a very big project. There's a rush. I have to attend to it. And the fact that I attend to a client and I don't cook for my husband for a week or two does not mean that I don't put my husband first. You see, these are the things I talk about. And that is why we have to be very selective about who we marry. Marry your kind. Marry your kind. That I don't have the time to cook. We're talking about food here. And nobody's going to die because they did not eat cooked food. You see, that is the problem. I have a friend who just relocated here with a wife, a pastor. Not just my friend, a brother. This is from Akwa Ibom State too, Daniel. And the other day we were chatting and he was telling me, I was asking the wife, oh, why are you, because the wife was sounding very tired. Why are you sounding like that? Are you okay? She said, it is fine. And she cooked all night. I said, why are you cooking all night? And you had to go to work in the morning. And my brother friend said, I don't like all this on our Igbo food though. So my wife has to cook over the night. And because the woman goes to work, she has to cook, you know, in the middle of the night, odd hours, early in the morning. Starts cooking like from 1 a.m., cooks till 4 a.m. The next day she goes to work. Because her husband cannot eat American food. cannot eat spaghetti, or cannot cook, or cannot go to an African store. So he would rather he wears out the wife. It's not as if she's a full-time housewife. She's going to go to work the next day. And I had to, of course, bear my mind to him. And luckily, my husband was there that day. And my husband said, oh boy, what's it now? Maybe Nigeria be this now. Even over the phone, your wife is sounding very tired. Why will you put her through that? And I was happy that a fellow man was talking to him. I mean, after I had told him my mind, say, oh boy, the woman even looked fresher when she was in Nigeria than here. Because she has to go to work. She has to run 2 shifts. You want to be a boss, and you cannot hold everything. The woman is still also going to bring money to the table. She's also going to cook for you because you refuse to be fluid. Life is, you have to be fluid. You can't be unnecessarily rigid, particularly when you find yourself in a climb where you know you cannot hold things on your own. Why is the woman going to work? Is it not to add to the bills? Help pay the bills? If she could not, if it were so easy, she wouldn't be doing 2 jobs. So those are the issues. And you know what? The next day she called me from work and she was crying. We're talking about a pastor here. These are people that I know very well. I grew up with them. She was crying, and telling me how stressed out she is because she has to cook. And, so I told her, well, I'm not going to tell you, you know how I operate. You know how I operate. So you go and talk. You guys is go and talk to, go and tell your husband how you feel. Because I'm not going to come and tell you what to do. I'm not going to go tell you what to do. Because you heard from my husband. So we don't make it easy for each other in the name of ego, wanting to feel that, okay, she had left her client that is going to give us big money and she cook. We're talking of food here. We're not talking about something that happens every day. We're talking about something that maybe that happens like once in maybe a year, or once in or twice in a year. So you mean that if I don't cook my husband for a week or 2 weeks, then it means my husband does not come first? So if I want to attend to a client who is helping to hold me down here with all the big, big bills I have, with all the plenty money I send to Nigeria, I should lose that client because I want to show that my husband comes first over food? At times when we talk like this, in other words, we're trying to say, men, that is all men live for, food. Or men are more into their ego. So you mean my husband is not understanding enough, educated enough to understand, or a man cannot be understanding enough to see that this client is, we got to hold this client, a big client. This job has to be done. It's part of the job. It's part of what I signed up for. It's part of the contract, what contract I signed, that I can work anytime. And of course, if you have a work that has a deadline, you work within that deadline. You're not going to tell a client something is going to be ready by maybe Friday, he gives it to you on Monday, and then by the following week it's not ready. The client will leave you or leave the firm and go somewhere else. You will lose your job. So there are realities of life that we have to, you see, that is the problem. We have become, we think that being Nigerian, and I'm going to be specific here, is having those cultures and being rigid about it. So I don't cook for my husband for a week or two. It means I don't keep him first. When we can go and get takeaway, when I can stay at home and and order for food through DoorDash or Uber Eats, and we'll still eat anyway. So you rather I go stress myself out. I don't have the time. I sleep for 2, 3 hours, and within that 2, 3 hours, I'll go and cook for my husband to show him that he comes first. I don't work with that kind of mentality, and I did not marry a man who works with that kind of mentality. And it does. It's not real. It's not feasible. You can't. It's not practical. You can't live abroad and have that kind of mindset. You can't. So you saying that I don't keep my husband first because I said I had a project and my husband had to go and buy. I mean, perhaps you have a wife who cooks for you every day. I don't cook every week because I have a job. I have a very, 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 very stressful job, and I cook when I want to cook. And that does not mean that I don't keep my husband first. Food is food. When I have the time, I cook very well. If I don't have the time, I'm not going to kill myself because I want to show my husband that he comes first. So that mentality, I think, is concerning. It's not feasible. Thank you so much.
All
Yeah,
right.
Madam,
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Dele, am I allowed to ask one or two questions to Madam Integrity, please?
Okay, just 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute.
All right, thank you so much. So, Madam Integrity, these are simple questions for you. I understand you have a client and you have deadlines and all of that, right? You say you wake up 4 a.m., close 12 or 2 a.m., thereabout. I also understand that within that period, you need to eat, you need to clean, you need to maybe take the kids to school if you have little kids. You need to take some rest, right? Now, I'm not saying that because you don't cook, you don't put your husband first. No. Another thing is, you see, I'm one person that believe on priority. I hate excuses. I believe in priority because for me as human beings, I prioritize what is important, right? What is important. Now, technology has made being a wife, being a husband, being a human being easier for us, right? I have this project coming on and it's going to take this period. We have freezers, deep freezers, refrigerators, and all of that. Nothing stops me to take a day, stock up the freezer, full time, right? Again, my point here is I don't want you to paint your marriage to be like the way other marriages should be because you women are easily influenced by each other because women don't tell themselves the truth. They're easily influenced. I can tell you for free, if we are 1,000 women here, 10 will go and rub this whole picture you painted to their own house, not knowing that, just like you said, marriage is personal. What works for you may not work for another. Marriage have different manuals. So again, it's a plea to women to say, hey, do not copy what might not work for you. Her formula is working for her because of the kind of man she got married to. Good for her. Okay, so I just want you to be clear on that because if you say you work from 4 a.m. to 12 a.m., do you not go to the toilet? Do you not shower? Do you not clean? Do you not do some basic things and all of that? It is almost impossible to work from on your decks 4 a.m. to 12 midnight or 2 a.m. You will do other things. So for me, again, it's about priority. We prioritize what is important. And again, you mentioned earlier, I forgot to bring it back, to say because you are 4 degree XYZ, nobody can talk to you. This mindset is really bad. 4 degree does not make you the best wife. 4 degree does not make you superwoman that nobody can talk to you or censure you or whatever. But again, it's not about you. This is not an attack or anything, but I just want to make it clear that we can always do better. And this thing should not bloat our ego to lose our femininity because that is the power women have that they do not understand yet. Femininity is so powerful that it's okay. Thank you, then I have to drop now and I hope to join
No,
later.
no, you're not gonna drop. I'm so sorry. Can you hang on a bit? Because I mean, people who know me here will be very shocked at what you're saying. I don't know if you're trying to gaslight or trying to misrepresent what I said. I never said I had 4 degrees. I mean, Daniel, is that what you guys heard me say? Did I say
Yes,
I
I
had
heard
four
it.
degrees and because of that nobody can talk to me? I said it. I said it exactly like that.
You mentioned
No, the
4 degrees.
degrees she
Is that what I
mentioned.
said?
No, no, no. To be fair,
It was
a
a
married
context.
bachelor.
Oh my
Madam
goodness.
Integrity, wait. When she
Who
mentioned her
is who is
degrees,
this person?
when she mentioned her degrees, it wasn't with regards her marriage. Let's be clear. When she mentioned her degrees, it wasn't with regards her marriage. She was talking about her degrees when she said she was coming from a home where there was exposure. She came from a home where people were exposed and educated, so it didn't mean that she couldn't do something in her marriage, or she wasn't able to be the wife she needed to be. And I think that what married bachelor fails to understand from Integrity's point of view is the understanding she has between her husband. That's what she's trying to explain. There's an understanding. So if I say that I'm unable to do this, it doesn't mean I don't prioritize my husband. It just means that he understands that at that point in time, I am unable to. But I'll let Integrity speak for herself. But I want
For
us
thank you so
I want
much.
us to
Oh, I
both
was
be
talking about
clear.
happiness. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know who this person is. I mean, I think are you trying to be mischievous here? You're saying no, no, you're
This person
misrepresenting what I said. No, hold on.
is a
Can you
human
hold
being.
on? I allowed you to speak.
No, no, no.
I don't
You
think
said this
I don't think it's right for you
person.
to do what you're doing because there are other people
This
here who don't
person
know me. Can
is
you
a
can,
human being
can you
first.
respect
This and
yourself? Can you hold
myself
on? Let me.
first.
I allowed you to speak. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. I did not interrupt you. What you said. I feel offended at what you just said because you mischaracterized what I said. You misquoted me. What I said was in context, like Ifwa had said. I was trying to. You talked about happiness, and I was trying to let you know that at the level at which I'm in, um, I don't I don't expect someone to talk down on me because you were talking about happiness is a feeling, and I said no. If at my level of exposure a man talks down on me, and I made it very clear that some women who don't take, I mean, they don't. It doesn't mean anything when a man talks down on them. For me, talking down on me and taking away my dignity is enough to make me unhappy. I said it in context. Said I had 4 degrees and no man can talk to me. You don't even know me. How will you just come and say? I mean, it's so funny. I need to correct that because this is a public space and it's being recorded. I'm not going to let you get away. And then all of a sudden you want to run away. No.
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't say that, and I never said, and I've always said, if you know me, people who know me here know how I talk. I'm been very consistent. I've always said that people have a right to their choices. What works for me will not work for you. I've always said that. I have always said that. And that I work from 4 a.m. to 12 midnight does not mean that it is at a stretch. I'm just trying to tell you 4 a.m. waking at 4 a.m. is not a normal thing now. People normally who have 9 to 5 job wake at least 6, 7, 8. If you're heading to the office, you head to the office. If you're working from home, at least 7, 8. So 4 a.m. is not the normal time for anybody to work, except people who are working doing night shifts. So first of all, my sleep has been affected. Then if you sleep at 11 p.m., if you have a regular 9 to 5 job, that is an odd time to even sleep. So there's no way it must affect your sleep. If you sleep at 11 p.m., 12 midnight, 1 a.m., your sleep must be affected. It will affect you. And when your sleep is affected, it affects you. It affects everything about you. So I was trying to give you the odd times at which I wake up and I sleep because we had this project for a week. And I made it very clear that is not my regular, what do you call it, schedule. That I've had this for last week. That was my schedule and I was not able to cook. And I don't have to have more food in the freezer, my brother. I don't have to have food sitting in the freezer because you don't even know what my story is. You don't know what you don't even know whether I traveled. You don't even know your story. So there are times as a woman where your freezer is empty. There are times as a woman where all you have in your freezer are just raw foods and you will need to cook. And cooking is a process. So when people speak, why don't you have a little bit of clarity before you start I think you're not. You don't care about the clarity. You just want to misquote and misrepresent me as a person or what I said.
Sorry, are you there?
The fact that I said that I have a man, I have a husband, and you know what? I don't even owe you any explanation to start with. Daniel, I'm not going to
Absolutely.
go
So
further. To hell with whatever you think or whatever however you want to represent me. I don't owe you any explanation. I don't know you. I don't know you.
okay, so I
Uh,
owe you an
I
apology
don't know
regardless
you, so
of
you can think
whatever.
whatever you want to think and say whatever you want to say. But if you say anything about me here, you don't need to run away. You'll have to stay for me to, correct it. Uh-huh.
I'm not running away,
Uh-huh.
right? So
So
I
don't
owe you
do
an
that.
apology.
You know me first. When you know me, then but you're not gonna come in here and be making conclusions about somebody you don't know. You've not been. You don't
Madam
know how I roll, and you
Integrity,
just come. I say one thing. Make conclusions from it. That is. I mean,
Madam
for somebody who
Integrity,
says he's a marriage counselor, that is sad.
Madam
And
Integrity,
you don't need
you've
to call
aired
me
your
Madam
voice.
Integrity. Just call me Integrity. I want to be like every other person here.
Okay,
Call me Integrity.
okay.
Uh-huh.
I owe you an apology regardless of the hell you sent me to. I'll apologize first before going there. So personally, I apologize if you feel offended by my words or sentences, right? But again, my point here is whatever emphasis you make, whatever examples you make about your marriage, I always want put disclaimer there. Let people know that this is not the manual you should use in your home. It worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you because again, like I said, women are easily influenced by their fellow woman. That's just my point. So again, I apologize if you feel offended. I don't want you to feel offended because I'll never insult you. I don't know you from anywhere, right? So put a disclaimer to say, oh, this is working for me. It might not work for you because you and other women are not the same. Your husband and other men are not the same, right? So I don't want people comparing their marriages to the beautiful home you have. That is my point. Okay, I don't want you to feel offended. I heard about something 4 degree, but if it's something I misheard, I apologize for that. So permission to go to the hell you're sending me to. Thank you, Daniel, for the opportunity.
Sorry, Daniel. Let me just add something real quick. Married bachelor, she doesn't owe you or me or anybody a disclaimer. When she spoke as integrity and her own experiences and her marriage. We're all adults here. Anybody who decides that in their marriage they want to model integrity's marriage, then all the best to you. But for you to demand that she puts a disclaimer, this is not a teaching class. This is not a training school. We're all here just trying to share experiences or share whatever we think we know. Or and I mean, you can if it's two things you pick from what Madam Integrity has said, take it and run with it. If there's nothing you have taken from what she has said, don't take anything. But for you to demand that she adds a disclaimer, is she talking to people in primary school? I don't understand. You can't demand from her to give you a disclaimer. I'm sorry. However, you want to interpret whatever she has said is entirely up to you as a human being. And however you want to be the judge of whatever she has said is also entirely, she doesn't owe anybody anything beyond telling us her own lived experiences, her own shared values. That's it.
Thank you so much. You just reminded me something. So the reason why I said this was because there was a Twitter space. There's one guy, Paulo. He holds every Monday, right? Now, something happened there. In as much as this is not a teaching class, yes, I understand, but the mindset you have, which is okay, whatever anybody says, if I like, I do it. Some people are different. Some people are easily influenced because we are all different here. Now, this husband came to the Twitter space to say this is where the wife is learning all the bad things that she has been doing. And that was not true. Or will I say it is true because we hear stories like this and the woman goes home to start practicalizing them, thinking that that's the right way to do, forgetting that every marriage is different. We all have different human beings here. Some people are easily influenced by social media and activities. Some people don't give a damn about social media. Whatever they see there, they have fun and go. So I have my reasons to say, give disclaimer to say, this is my experience. It doesn't mean it has to work for you and all of that. And it doesn't cost us anything. It's respect for each other. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, if you do not want to, it's completely fine. Okay?
Mr. Married, what's it, married, whatever. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I didn't plan to do the back and forth, but I like to be very clear when I'm on spaces. Um, I think part of the problem we also have as a people is uh, you you what do you call it again? You do your damned, you don't do your still damned. So I come in here and I talk about how my second marriage has worked and how good it has been, and to you is a bad influence on somebody else. Or I talk about how understanding how I'm working and my husband can go and get, 1 or 2 weeks. I didn't say I don't cook. I did not say I don't cook. I said I was very busy. Okay, forget about the example I gave about the project. I was very busy and my husband went to get some takeaway for us to, eat. So that is bad. Or it is bad that I have a good marriage. And I remember ever even saying that it's not doesn't mean that my marriage is not perfect. Sorry, it's perfect. But I am a divorcee and I'm married a second time and my marriage is working. And Daniel, I don't have small children. My children are grown. My children are grown. I have a 25-year-old and I have a 21-year-old, and they don't live here. My son owns a company. So you're not talking about somebody who just started marriage yesterday or started life yesterday. I'm not coming here to come on. Like Efua said, there's no child here. People take what they want to take and they live what they want to live. But when we have a topic like this, we have to let people know it's not all bad. And I don't understand how somebody coming to paint a lovely scenario that should be admirable will make any other person to be upset that this is where the wife comes. Are you for real? You said you're a marriage counselor. Is that what you said? You're quite. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but a bit too. I'm trying to find the right words. You should be deeper than this. What is wrong with a man, even for a month? Why people do it? So you're trying to say if somebody is busy or has some travels or something, are you trying to say that same man cannot take care of himself if the wife is not around? So you see, these are mentalities that we have to. Your wife is coming to learn from Twitter. It means you married a child. It means you married a child. If your wife is coming into Twitter to come and learn bad things, it means you have a child. Because we come in here to relay our experiences, our personal experiences. I have taken 1 or 2 things away from here as a person. So if you are in a marriage where your husband starts to, and I heard you say, women like to listen to themselves, women don't tell themselves the truth. And you say you're a marriage counselor, but your words are a little, you're a little, you're quite a bit loose with the way you present. I see this anti-women rhetoric coming from you.